Hello and welcome into the StarCast Deckermark Studios. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of the Hockey Podcast Network, brought to you by DraftKings. Make sure you use that promo code THPN for a daily little Doomaflachi thingy, whatever it's called.
Free thing.
Yeah, free thing. Cool stuff. Okay. Anyways, along with Christian and James, I almost said Christian and Ryan. I'm James. Along with Christian James, I am Ryan. And we are super excited to get started here tonight. We have got a crap ton of stuff to talk about, guys. I know that we had a little bit of an issue finding stuff to talk about last week. And then, going through this whole week, I thought I was going to be like, oh, crap. We're not going to have much to talk about other than what we've already talked about like a billion times. However, it seems like everybody and their mother who was a RFA decided to sign at the very last second, and there's like a list of like just a couple here, and it's the list is insane. And there's a bunch of news that came out. There's news that came out even just like about an hour ago that we probably should talk about. And I was just looking at Twitter and I realized, and it's not on our list of things to talk about, but we may do it anyways. The Stars announced their broadcast schedule for the season. There's going to be some interesting little tidbits that we're going to talk about. Training camp begins tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's still closed to the public, so we can't go and watch it or anything like that. But nevertheless, it's hopefully a normal season, right? Semi-normal season. Maybe starting a little late, but we'll get to that. And
like a week late, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a week late. So, and Chris asked to put this into the podcast tonight too. We're gonna talk a little bit about the goalie situation again.
I didn't ask. I just did it.
But it is what it is. We'll come to terms with it. At least Chris will, and we'll see where that conversation leads. And then we'll talk about a couple of logos, and we'll talk about a team, and we'll just mention Anaheim and what's the first player or person that comes to your mind, and we may do a little bit of that tonight. And then, of course, we've got our Who Cares segment for the evening. So, anyways, guys, how are y'all doing tonight? Y'all doing okay?
I'm doing great. So, here, listen to what happened at work today. So, everybody quit all at the same time. We have no workers. So, if you would like a part-time job,
and you live in College Station,
come on down to 12th Man Technology. We will hire literally anybody. Yeah. So we have so few people we had to close the store.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah, we're like our hours are pretty much based off of whenever I work.
Like you're the only person working?
The only person that has experience that is working. Yes. Everyone else doesn't know how to run the store.
So what happened? Why did everybody quit?
That's a good question.
School?
One of them was for school. One of them, other just different things changed. I don't know. And they just hate our boss. I'm pretty sure that's the common denominator. But
oh, that sucks.
Whatever. Well,
sometimes you got to deal with a crappy boss in order to get through stuff, right?
Yeah. But I didn't have to deal with customers today because we were closed. It was great.
So, you still have to deal with the boss, though, right?
No.
No?
Yeah, she actually got COVID at the same time that all this is happening. She has COVID. It's crazy.
James, I don't know if you can really top that.
Top that, James.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
My topping is that I'm outside right now.
That's what I got. Beautiful day today in
really
Texas.
It is awesome.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like 75 out here.
Thank you so much, Cold Front.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, for us, it was yesterday out here in West Texas. So, like, yesterday, it was, like, incredibly windy, like, very windy. But the weather was, like, absolutely perfect. It was, like, 75, 74, something like that. There's just a little bit of sunshine, not too much, really pretty.
Yeah, I walked out of my building this morning, and I shivered. It was wonderful.
And here we are talking about hockey, a game played on ice.
Right, exactly.
What a segue, James.
Yeah, I know. All right, no, well, I'm going to interrupt the segue. So I'm going to interrupt the segue just because I'm so excited about this jersey. I know y'all are like, whatever. But for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can look and see that I finally have the Mooterist jersey that I've been wanting for almost 4 or 5 years now. I finally found a great deal on one. This thing is enormous on me, but I don't care. All of its ugly gloriness is amazing. I think I've got it Monday, and I've worn this jersey about 4 times. No joke. So I am really excited about this jersey. This will be the first jersey I wear when I go to a Stars game this upcoming season. I guarantee you it. I even have I have the new blackout jersey and the reverse retro and all these other jerseys. No, this is the one that I'm wearing to my first game back.
I'll take one of those off your hands if you want.
You can't have it. You can wear it, but you can't have it. So anyway, this thing is a large and it's enormous, but I don't care. It smells kind of weird, but
looks like it fits to me.
Really? Makes me look like I had bird wings. Oh, I'm totally missed that.
Yeah,
rude.
There you go.
Okay. Anyways, now we can segue into hockey. Okay. Anyways, let's get into some of the news from this past week, and there's been a ton. And I know I kind of expected it to heat up a little bit with the season upcoming and everything, but holy crap, the signings! Yeah. I guess we should have seen this coming. Yeah, I'm no joke. I think it started Tuesday. Yeah. No. Well, maybe Monday. It wasn't even Sunday.
Monday though. It wasn't in the morning on Monday for
sure. Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So So we'll save the first one for last because that's obviously the biggest one, guys. But just to start off, I'll just go through and I'll let you guys talk about any of the ones you want because there's a lot. St. Louis signs RFA Robert Thomas to 2 years at $2.8 million per year. That's a decent signing. Columbus, this was a big one that I didn't see coming. Elvis Merzlikins, 5 years at $5.4 million per year. Who's the number one goaltender in Columbus now? It's obviously Merzlikins.
That's a great deal, I think, honestly. 5 for 5 for a goalie of Merzlikins' quality. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
Well, and there was all that talk about who was going to be the number one goaltender going into this season with Korpisalo and Merzlikins. Yeah. And, I'm halfway rooting for Elvis Merzlikins just because of everything that happened with the young man that passed away back in July. And he really wants to win the Vezina just for him. So, I mean, that would be super cool. But I'm rooting for him.
He's a great goalie.
He really is, despite all that happened. And he's proved himself. He's obviously the number one goaltender now, and he got paid. Vegas, Nolan Patrick, a former first-round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers, kind of had a weird way of getting to Vegas, but he signs a 2-year deal at $1.2 million per year. Has a lot of potential. He's still young, but he still hasn't realized that full potential yet, and Vegas is hoping they can tap into that. Buffalo signs Rasmus Dahlin to a 3-year contract at $6 million per year, which I think that's a steal for someone like Rasmus Dahlin.
It personally is a steal, and I'm surprised by him signing that deal. Honestly, why does he want to stay in Buffalo? I don't get it.
Well, and I thought about that, but he doesn't really have a choice, right? He's an RFA, so I guess he could sign an offer sheet, but no, obviously he probably would have signed it if someone had given it to him, right?
Yeah, well, that's when your agent's gotta talk to people and get someone to give you an offer sheet.
Well, that's what I think he already did that. Just nobody came to the table. Nobody answered the phones.
3 years is just a long time to stay in Buffalo.
Maybe I think 3 years is okay. I think Dahlin probably sacrificed some years. He probably wanted just a 1 or 2 year deal just to see where it would go from here in Buffalo. And then I think Buffalo wanted him to lock him up, long term, 8 years plus, or just 8 years. You can't go above 8 years, but whatever, 8 years, okay. But $6 million, that's pretty cheap, right, for someone of Rasmus Dahlin's quality?
Yeah, it's not bad, especially for the climate we've had this season. So that's a good deal for Buffalo. I'm just surprised Dahlin would sign it.
Yep. I am a little bit too, but I still think that he's going to have a monster season this year. I kind of put him up there with Rope Hintz having a monster season. But because, once this whole Jack Eichel thing gets situated, I think Buffalo is going to go on a tear. I don't think they're going to be like, a playoff team or anything like that, but I think they're definitely going to play better because that weight and that distraction is going to be gone.
Man, you and me have very different definitions of a tear.
Yeah. Well, I said tear. I said tear.
They're going to go on a tear. They're not going to make the playoffs at all.
Yeah, I realized a tear for Buffalo is kind of what I was thinking. If that makes any sense whatsoever. So a tear for them may be going like 8 and
1 in
8.
10 games.
Not going on a 17-game winless streak, I guess, is what I'm saying. That would be a tear for Buffalo, I guess. All right, so a couple more. Los Angeles signs their goalie of the future, aka present, Cal Peterson, to 3 years at $5 million. That's another good signing for Los Angeles, and Los Angeles,
That's
I think, could make the
goalie of the future.
Yeah, but I really think that Los Angeles could turn some heads this season, right? So they've been, out of the playoffs for a couple years now. They still have Anze Kopitar who can do some things. They still have Drew Doughty who can do some things. Plus, they've got all these young guys coming in. Plus, they added Deneau. They've added some other big names through free agency, and I think they could push for a playoff spot this year. I really do.
I think they could win the California state championships, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, in the really weak Pacific, I really think they could make some damage in the Pacific. I mean, if they're feasting on teams like Vancouver, I don't think Vancouver makes the playoffs. I mean, San Jose obviously won't make the playoffs. Anaheim definitely won't make the playoffs. That's 3 teams they could feast on. Plus Seattle, we're assuming Seattle's not going to be all that great. But that's 4 teams that they could feast on, and I really think they could push for a playoff spot.
There's no way they get in the top 3, and if they're not in the top 3, they're not making the playoffs.
I agree with you in the fact that it's going to be 5 and 3, right, in the split. It'll be 5 from the Central, 3 in the Pacific.
But who do they knock out? Are you saying they're going to beat the Ducks or the Kraken? They have to beat both of them.
Right, yeah. I think they can beat both of them. They'll definitely beat Anaheim for sure.
I mean, you think the Flames are bad again this season?
Yes. The Flames have too many questions. They have way too many questions.
They have
and the Kings have no answers.
The thing is that LA has nothing to lose. They really don't.
No, they're not even going to be close.
All right, well, okay. Like always, Chris says I'm wrong. And I turn around and say Chris is an idiot, so. Okay, anyways. Okay, so let's get to the big one. And I really feel like this kind of started the whole, oh, crap, we got to sign everybody kind of thing. Like I said, Kirill Kaprizov has re-signed in Minnesota. I don't know if I agree. Yeah, right, exactly, James. Do the shocked face. I think he gave up some years, so he only wanted like a 2 or 3 year deal, and so he went to 5 years, and then I don't think Minnesota wanted to give him 8, 9, 10 million, but he got it. He got 9 million, and I don't know what to think of this because based off of what I saw, I mean he seems like a $9 million player, but hold on. He seems like a $9 million player, but he had such a short span. He only played in the NHL for 55 games. So just because you score whatever it was, 50-some, he was almost a point per game as a rookie. But did they overpay? Did Minnesota overpay Kirill Kaprizov?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not even a good question. They way over the team who is most famous for over-the-top deals has done it again, and that's what this looks like to me. This is just another Sutter situation, and 9 million.
Parise.
Yeah, Parise. Thank you. I couldn't think of his name. This is the exact same thing. 9 million is a ridiculous number for a player like that. Next year, he probably falls way off in his numbers. I mean, he's still going to be a good player. He's going to be a first-line guy for most teams, but he's not going to be a point per game. And I think he'll always be good on the power play just because like his play style is just so well suited for that. But even strength, he's not going to be a big difference maker. I think 9 million is a ridiculous number.
If he makes the same amount of points per game he did last season, is it worth it?
Yes. Yeah, if he's a point per game after that, 9 million, sure. But even if you look
Yeah.
at, like, if you compare that to the Connor McDavid deal, he's making more than that, like,
Yeah.
or close to that at least.
So here's the breakdown for the 5-year contract. So for those of you that don't understand how contracts work, just because it says 5 years at 9 million doesn't necessarily mean he's getting exactly $9 million every single year. So it kind of fluctuates based off of, how they think the player is going to do over the next couple seasons. Okay, so this is what Elliot Friedman tweeted out about 5 hours ago. Okay, so the first year is only $5 million. Okay, that would be a good deal. That would be a great deal for Kaprizov, in my opinion. Then it jumps up, it doubles. Then the second year, $10 million. Third year, 12.5. Fourth year, 10 million. Fifth year, 7.5. So he's not getting paid as much as Tyler Seguin will this season. Sagan's getting like 13 million or something like that, something crazy. But still, that's a high amount to pay a player, $12.5 million for a short period of time where he was really good. And, maybe he'll turn around and he'll score 30, 40 goals again and, 80, 90 points, and he'll make me eat my words. But
If he scores 30 goals a season, that's not worth $9 million. Like, you got to score 40 goals if you're going to make $9 million. And I think we should tell people just so they know that the fluctuation and what they get paid each year, that doesn't matter to the cap. So cap-wise, he's getting paid
it's
$9
million.
But
Yeah,
I
the
just
cap-wise,
remember that.
the cap-wise, it goes by the average annual value of the year of the contract. So that's what they base it off of, the 9 million, not necessarily the 5 million, the 10 million, whatever it was after that. But still, I think that Bill Guerin is getting $9 million better value out of Kirill Kaprizov than we will out of Jamie Benn this season. Would you disagree with that?
That's true.
So, I mean, it really just depends on how you look at it and how you approach it as well. So, even with all of these signings and stuff like this, okay, so we mentioned all of these players, all of these guys that have gotten signed. 3 big RFAs still remain unsigned. And out of those 3, 2 of them are in Vancouver, 1 of them is in Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk is still not signed, and he's also not on the training camp roster for Ottawa, which really raises some eyebrows, and it kind of worries some Senator fans. However, for Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes, Vancouver fans, those 2 players are on the training camp roster. So that kind of leads me to believe that there are 2 deals coming in place for both of those guys, probably maybe a day or 2 into training camp. So, I mean, those guys are extremely important to their team. I mean, those are kind of like rope hints for Stars fans that don't know those players. Quinn Hughes is basically like a Cale Makar for Vancouver. So all 3 of those guys are super important. And I'm very surprised they're still unsigned. And I'm surprised it took this long for all these players to get signed. Yeah. Honestly, I kind of expected it like, August or something like that. But literally all of these guys waited till the very last second to actually get signed.
Yeah, well, the Pettersson and the Hughes situation is just classic Vancouver. Vancouver always signs their RFAs stupid late for no reason that I can think of, other than their GM being an incompetent buffoon, which I still believe with the EOL deal, but...
OEL.
OEL. I said
EOL.
EOL last time, didn't I?
You did.
I did.
Ekman Oliver Larson.
Ekman Oliver Larson. That's a way better name. But yeah, that's classic Canucks. I think their GM sucks. Hopefully they get out of there.
Well, I mean, James, is this something that we should expect from now on to see RFAs get signed this late? Because, I mean, even 5 years ago, it wasn't like this, right? I mean, they always found out a way to get signed a month or 2 before the season started. So is this something that we should just expect from RFAs and GMs from now on?
Personally, I think a lot of this was caused by Kaprizov, honestly. It's like this big player in Minnesota that just isn't signing for whatever reason. So I don't think that it will take as long normally but I think in general it's going to get longer and longer. So
Yeah, that's a fair point. Players trying to base it off of whatever Kaprizov signs at. But, I mean, for the Stars, that definitely wasn't a good idea. Like, we signed Heiskanen right before the huge
Months
contract with
ago.
Seth Jones, and that worked
Months
out
ago.
great. We were like, oh, man, I don't know about this deal. And then all the other deals came in. We're like, man, that Heiskanen deal was pretty good. So,
And he's locked up for a really long time too, which
exactly.
that helps
So,
us out a ton.
signing earlier is, in my opinion, still the correct thing for GMs to do. But GMs
Yeah.
are stupid, so.
Okay, so out of these RFA contracts that we've talked about, which one is probably the best value contract out of these that we've talked about? I don't even know if there's any others. There's probably more that I missed and I haven't seen because I haven't checked since this afternoon. But which one of these is probably the best value contract?
I like. I'm between Merzlikins and Darlene, but I'll take Merzlikins because he'll make a bigger difference on Columbus. So I'll take Merzlikins. I think he's going to be great for them this year.
James?
I'll be honest, I don't know most of the people on this list. So
Fair enough.
That's also fair too, yeah. Now, the one I'm most excited for, honestly, is Nolan Patrick because he hasn't realized his full potential, and now he gets to go play with a bunch of really good offensive players in Vegas, and I think he could possibly, pot some goals and stuff like that. So, but as for best value, I just don't see how Rasmus Dahlin is not the best value. I mean, he's your number one defenseman. He's young. He's only making $6 million. I honestly expected somewhere around what Heiskanen gets for him. So. The fact that
he's not going to make the Sabres a good hockey team, though.
Right. I mean, one person can't do that, unless you're maybe Connor McDavid. Freaking Connor McDavid.
Or Rope Hintz this year.
Yeah, or Rope Hintz this year. Hot take: 100 points in the season. Yep. We'll see if that happens. I don't think so.
I'm still holding on to that.
Yeah, me too. But okay, one more signing we want to mention that's really cool, and I love the fact that he's coming back. Zdeno Chara, Big Z, is returning to where he started. He is going back to the New York Islanders. The terms were not disclosed on this contract, but we do know it was a 1-year contract. I would assume it's around league minimum, maybe a little bit above, something like that. And I think that's great for Chara. I mean, he can possibly break the record for the playing the most games by a defenseman this upcoming season, and right now that's held by Chris Chelios. So I would love to see him get one more cup before he hangs up his skates, and I think New York gives him a decent shot at that. Right? What do y'all think?
Yep, absolutely. And New York's the team that plays best to his style too, real structured and real solid. So. It's a good deal. The deal's better than the Sitter deal, so.
James, what do you think? Do you like that?
I'll be honest, I don't really have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Like, just
James
kind of
hates Chara.
Yeah, I don't hate Chara, but he's old. That's all I got.
The dude is 44.
Yeah.
The dude is 44, and he's still playing
That's
NHL
old.
hockey. That's crazy.
That's old man strength.
Well, and speaking of old hockey players, Yager is still playing. He is still playing professional hockey in the Czech Republic. And he's playing for the team that he owns. It's ridiculous. He's almost 50. I think he's 48 right now, and he's still playing professional hockey. So, anyways, I'm just really excited for Big Z. Hopefully, if it's not the Stars and the Stars don't make the playoffs or whatever, or they don't go deep in the playoffs or whatever, I hope New York wins just because of Chara. So, okay, wow, that was a lot of signings just like that. Alex Galchenyuk, he signs a PTO deal with the Arizona Coyotes. That is a professional tryout contract. So basically what that means for those of you that don't understand what a professional tryout contract is that they don't necessarily have to give that person any money. So basically what they do is they come into training camp, and if they impress enough, then the team will award them with an actual contract. So that's how a PTO works. If the player does not, if he doesn't work out or whatever with the team, and it doesn't seem like it's a good fit, then the team can release him from the professional tryout, and then there's no the team is not responsible for giving any kind of compensation or anything like that to the player. So basically, there's no risk for the team in this. I mean, Galchenyuk's been everywhere, right? And ever since he got traded from Montreal, it seems like he's bounced around. Does he have a chance of making the Coyotes? What do y'all think?
No.
No? You think he just gets released from his contract?
Yeah.
Not a chance?
No.
There's
There's not much to talk about in this.
Yeah. I feel bad for him, but I just don't see how he can make the roster. Even the Coyotes. So,
Yeah.
At least he's getting a chance with the Arizona Coyotes, but it is what it is. All right, Travis Zajac, longtime New Jersey Devil. He got traded to the New York Islanders for a short period of time so he could go and try and go get a cup. He has retired, so he is no longer playing in the NHL. He played in the NHL for a decent long time, over 1,000 games. So good luck to Zajac in his retirement. This thing I really wanted to talk about, mostly because I understand where this guy is coming from, but we all know about Jonathan Drouin, right? Being out for basically the entire season for the Montreal Canadiens. He finally came out this past week, and he said he was out due to the fact that he was dealing with anxiety and also dealing with insomnia. And as someone who has severe anxiety and especially with my job and stuff like that, I totally get it and I understand. And insomnia is a little bit of a different story. I've never had to deal with that, but the fact that the guy comes out and is willing to talk about it, with media members, because I think it was like the media tour, talking to all the different networks and stuff, and the fact that he was willing to do that is really strong of him, and I admire him for that. But yeah, anything about that?
Nope, just stuff not going the Canadians' way keeps not going their way. So when it rains, it pours.
Right, and I'm hoping he has a good season, just for his fact. So we'll see how Jonathan Drouin does with that. All right, next, the Coyotes have officially put in a $1.7 billion bid in Tempe, which is closer to downtown Phoenix, for a new arena. But there's so many logistics to work out that there's no way that the arena will be built next season. There's not a chance. So where do they play next season?
I researched this, and I thought it sounds like they're still playing in Gila River.
But for this upcoming season, that's correct. But the season after, where do they go?
Yeah, so I did research on that too. So some people are saying that what the announcement that the city made was just a bluff, trying to get the Coyotes to cave and pay their rent and all that stuff. And then that this new proposed thing that they're saying in Tempe is also a bluff by the Coyotes.
$1.7 billion bluff? I don't know about that.
They're not paying the 1.7. That's there was renderings of it. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. Sounds like a Coyote situation. It's pretty stupid.
That does sound like a Coyote. That's a perfect. Answer right there, Chris. It's a Coyote situation.
Yeah.
What I've seen from this story is, there's so much wrong with this story and why it shouldn't be wrong like this. I don't even know where to start. So, okay, if what I've already seen out of this bid is that there have been officials from the local international airport that have said that it's at 1.8 miles from the airport. So, and they're concerned about the fact that it's that close to the airport. So it's already getting questioned, and it hasn't even been a week. As for where they play next season, there have been so many different scenarios, situations, whatever you want to call them. Some people have said, oh, send them to a market where they might be successful. So they may be the Phoenix Coyotes playing in Houston, or the or the Arizona Coyotes playing in Quebec City for a couple of years while their building gets built in Tempe or something like that. And then
that would be nuts.
That would be absolutely nuts. And then what are you supposed to tell the fans there? Like, here's an NHL franchise. Here, give us money, but we're not going to stay here. We're going to go back to Arizona. There's no way people would pay for that, right? I wouldn't. I mean,
that sounds ridiculous. That does not sound like it.
But that was one of the proposed situations that I've seen from multiple different articles. And then I guess the easy answer is that they'll just play in a building that's not NHL quality. I mean, really, that's
play in an AHL building.
Oh, play in an AHL building and then play in front of like 5,000, 7,000 fans. They might actually be able to fill the building.
Oh no, they wouldn't.
Oh man!
No chance to fill the building.
Oh man! I mean, there's just no good situation to this, right? There's no good end to this story at all.
Okay, we literally just laughed at the Coyotes organization. They're the laughingstock of the NHL. Like, and it's not just there's multiple situations going on with the Coyotes right now. This franchise is terrible. So, honestly, NHL needs to do something about whatever is going on over there. Whether it's moving the team, getting someone else to buy the team, or something, because it honestly looks terrible. It looks awful. Like, there's nothing good that's come out of Arizona at all.
There's a huge push right now for Houston to get this franchise. I mean, it's a big push.
But like, what is a good thing that you've remembered coming out of Arizona? Like, nothing. The Cochino logo. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. The Cochino logo is pretty cool. But
other than that, like, nothing has happened in Arizona hockey.
Yeah, they've. I mean, other than the fact that Austin Matthews is from the area, that's one thing. And in youth hockey is growing there. It is. And I mean, obviously, Austin Matthews is a perfect product of that. But the other thing is how many deep playoff runs have they had?
None.
I think they had one with Mike Smith back in the day when Dave Tippett was the coach, and it was when Shane Doan was the captain. So that was a while ago, and I think that was in the mid 2000s. I think it was like 2006 or something like that. I could be completely wrong on the date there, but they've had one decent run, and that was about it.
Yeah. So while we laugh about like Buffalo, and a couple of years ago we were laughing about how bad Florida was, but if we're being completely honest, the worst franchise to ever be in the NHL, or it was in the NHL right now, I should say.
That's a good. Yeah, that's I would say.
Is the Coyotes. Mm-hmm. Like, it's awful. So something needs to be done about it before another scandal happens.
Yeah.
We'll see. Oh. It makes the NHL look stupid. Is what it does when a team can't keep its arena.
Well, and they are like bound and determined to make Phoenix work in the NHL, and I don't know. I mean, they tried it twice in Atlanta, and both times it failed.
That doesn't make sense. Atlanta should be a great place for a hockey team, but whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know. I need to go look more into depth as to why that happened. First, it was the Atlanta Flames, and then they moved to Calgary, and then it was the Atlanta Thrashers, and then they moved to Winnipeg and became the Jets. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what you do with this team, and especially I feel bad for the new owner, the Alex Mariuello, the new owner. He just bought this team, and John Chenka, when he was the GM, kind of suckered him into it and said, hey, we need some, like a good backbone financially, and we need somebody like you to come in and do it, and you can do this and make money on top of that. And
he's done a great job.
Yeah, John Chenka did not do a good job. And also the owner has not done a great job in that either. And there's all those stories. We're not going to get into that anyways. Okay, let's put a bow on that and put it to rest. But
Coyotes suck. Moving.
Yeah, pretty much. So what we want to get into, and this is some interesting news. This is some different stuff from the Stars, but the Stars announced the broadcast schedule for this upcoming season. So in this broadcast schedule, there's going to be 11 nationally televised games, that's astronomical for Dallas. I mean, you remember the years when we were in when NBC was still doing it? Well, I say like it was
last year?
a million years ago, but it feels like a million years ago with COVID and stuff like that. But I think there was literally one year we got two. There were two nationally televised games, which I didn't mind because, we got to deal with Josh and Razor more. But now we have 11, spread across TNT or ESPN.
Yeah. And we were getting 2 games when we were a good team.
Right.
We were a solid playoff team that was pushing to be a contender. We had 2 nationally televised games. So it's pretty ridiculous.
It's just because we're not the original 6 or one of the big teams. We're not Toronto, Chicago, Pittsburgh. Washington even gets some big names in too and gets a lot of viewership. But yeah, that's cool. It's cool for the Stars that they get more nationally recognition in the NHL, which is very nice.
Yeah, and we can actually watch the games on TV whenever it's on those stations.
Yeah, seriously, no joke. I don't even know if I want to open that can of worms right now, but there's a.
It's gonna open once you say the name. It's gonna be open.
Okay, well I'm gonna open it anyways. Okay, here we go. And we're probably not even talking about the same thing, but maybe we are. There's the 11 games that are going to be on ESPN or TNT. The remaining 71 are going to be on Bally Sports Southwest. And
too bad nobody can watch them.
Oh gosh, man! I looked this up. The only streaming service right now that has Bally Sports Southwest is DirecTV. That's it.
AT&T does as well.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. AT&T is DirecTV.
Kind of.
No, they are the same.
Slightly different.
Slightly different.
They're the same thing. It's AT&T.
DirecTV is traditional TV. AT&T is streaming television, so it's just slightly different, but it's super expensive. So,
why are you talking like this and like?
Because I'm being technical and mansplaining to you.
Well, anyways, please, Bally Sports, figure something out. Seriously, because I want to be able to watch the games, and I can't if y'all don't figure out y'all's crap.
No, we can. We'll find a way, a very legal way to watch them.
We better, because I would rather pay money to give money to the Stars.
We might have too many
like
people listening to our podcast for me to say that now.
But okay, so anyways, I opened that can of worms, and I'm gonna close it back up. But the other interesting thing is that we've added 2 new members to the Bally Sports Southwest crew on camera.
Yeah, this is very cool to me.
Yeah, I think this is awesome. This is fantastic. We haven't seen a woman on Stars Live since Julie Dobbs, I think, left. I think that's correct. And I mean, she's still involved in the DFW area with, I think she's on the Ticket a lot, and I think she has her own podcast that she does. But Brian Ray is no longer the host. And don't worry, he's not going anywhere. I love Brian. He's kind of grown on me the last couple of years. He is now an analyst along with Brent Severin. So we're going to have 2 television analysts, which is going to be pretty cool.
I was surprised by that. I didn't think he was going to go to the analyst side.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised too, because just based off of what I've seen from him in the past, and he's got his own little website that he has that has, it's like a professional website for anybody that wants to go look at some of his highlights of whatever he's called in, like the Odessa Jackalopes or whatever else he's called for hockey. But yeah, I was very surprised when I saw that announcement. And so what that means is that Lauren Callender, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Lauren. I apologize if you're listening and I say that wrong. But she is now the new host of Stars Live. She's got a Twitter handle, so go and follow her on Twitter. And then on top of Lauren being the new host of Stars Live in the intermission reports and stuff like that, Michelle McMahon, I'm probably saying that wrong,
It's McMahon.
Is what?
I think it's McMahon.
Mahon, I don't know, whatever. Michelle, I apologize. I'm not very good with names, but she is going to be the ringside reporter for the Dallas Stars for Bally Sports Southwest. So that's even cool too. So the fact that we're getting more people in, that's going to allow us to be more immersed in the experience for the Stars. We'll get more ringside stuff from Michelle. I think Lauren's going to be excellent. I'm trying to remember. One of them is from the Big Ten Network. I think it's Michelle, and I think that was her background. I'm not sure about that, but we're very excited for them to join it, and we'll see how that goes. That's going to be really interesting with the fact that the NHL is back on ESPN again. I cannot wait to hear the theme again, because that's what I grew up with, was the NHL on ESPN. But whatever. Do you have any thoughts about that before we put a bow tie on that?
I think it's very cool, and it shows how good that that our broadcast team is, that they're able to hire 2 full new employees without losing any of the other ones. Like, that's just how good our broadcast has been, and they think it's worth it to make it even better. So that's really cool to me.
Yep. James?
No.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I'm not very helpful this episode. I'm sorry.
James
That's all
liked
right.
watching hockey, and he
Yes.
liked the people who talk
Like-
about it too.
Yep.
Yeah, I like watching hockey and I like listening about hockey, but not very knowledgeable.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, speaking of which, and I'll go ahead and announce it again before we get into our next little thing, but once the season does start, we will be trying to do a post-game review, if I can talk, a PGR after every single game. So there may be days where I'm out, or Chris is out, or James is out, and the other two will do it. But either way, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be awesome, and we hope you guys tune in for those once the season starts. Anyways, the Dallas Stars have also released their training camp roster, and there's no big, huge surprises on the list. There's a couple that I hope make the team, and we'll see how that goes. But if you want to see the full list of the players at training camp, you can go to DallasStars.com, and I think it's like the first thing on the little scrolling reel that you can see. And I think there's 35 forwards, 19 defensemen, and oh my gosh, 7 goaltenders. 7.
No way, we have a lot of goalies?
That is ridiculous.
What?
So,
Who could have predicted?
who could have predicted this? Okay, just going through, there's some players that will obviously make the roster, and there's some that are fringe. I'm just gonna yell out a name, and I want you to say in or out for if he makes the team opening night. Okay. Kamano.
In.
Yeah, and
Nicholas Kamano in? Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's a scratch, but he's in.
He's in. Okay. Riley Damiani.
Out.
Dang.
I want him to be in, but he's out.
Yeah, me too. I want him in. I think he'd be a great addition to that third line. Delandria.
In.
I don't know. He's
Yeah.
kind of shaky for me.
I know, and again, some of these players are hard. I'm only picking the ones that are kind of hard. I say in. I want him to be in just for his sake. I hope he's in because he started off so well last season, and I just hope that he can continue his push for an NHL regular spot and not get sent back down to the AHL. Rhett Gardner.
He's probably in.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's
I-
he's another scratch guy.
Yeah, we're running out of spots, guys. We're running out of spots pretty quickly. The way that y'all are saying, I'm
You're
saying he's
running
out.
of spots. It's either Kamano or I forgot the name you just said. Gardner.
Gardner.
It's either Kamano or Gardner.
Well,
One
and
of them's in, one of them's out.
And I really like the play of Rhett Gardner. And I mean,
I
he was born in '96, so he's Zach's age. So he's what, 25? I think 26.
I
Something
don't
like
know
that?
what Zach is. Don't ask me these questions.
Don't ask me stupid questions. Okay. Tanner Kero.
Out.
I kind of like Caro.
No, what is wrong with you, Jay?
I don't know why. I like Karo.
I saw the look in your eyes, James. I knew you were gonna say in.
I like Karo.
I do too, but I just don't. There's so many other younger players that need those spots, and so I'm gonna say
I
out.
don't like Karo. Nobody really likes Karo.
Kiviranta,
In.
And
100% in. I don't think there's any question about
Yeah.
that one. Although some people have said he's fringe, which I think is stupid.
If he's not in, we're trading him. So
Right. Yeah. I don't know if we're trading him. I don't think he has enough trade value to be traded unless someone gives us like a 7th round pick or something like that. Joel Esperance. That's a hard one, right?
ow.
he's out. It is a hard one, but he's out. He's not.
Right.
I haven't seen a high enough skill ceiling on
Well,
him to.
The thing is he had so much hype behind him. About 4 years ago, when he was a lot, I mean, he's still young. He's 26, I think, but he had so much hype behind him when he was like 21, 22, and that's kind of fallen by the wayside now with Jason Robertson coming in and some of these other younger guys. Wyatt Johnson played great at the Traverse City tournament. Let's keep going. That's pretty obvious. Michael Raffle, the new free agent signing from Philadelphia. In or out?
Please be out.
But you think he's in?
I think he's in.
He's 32 years of age, so I think that alone is going to get him in the lineup.
I hate that signing so much.
I don't hate it. I just hope that
I
they
hate
don't.
it.
I hope they don't have to use him. Is my thing.
I hate it.
I think he's purely like a 14th or 15th forward, in my opinion. I really think that's what it is. James, in or
I
out?
don't like it.
I don't know. I'm good enough.
Yeah. Okay, so James says out. We all say out. I'm gonna say this one because I want him to be in, but it's not gonna happen. Riley Tufte,
Not a chance.
not a chance. I want him to be in for his sake, but it's not gonna happen unless he somehow comes in and just has an incredible camp and makes the Stars make tough decisions. But so those are just some of the forwards. The defense is, it's really easy to pick the defense. I mean, you can't really choose, who's in or out for defense. But I guess this would be a good time to go ahead and introduce coming to terms with the goalie situation, Chris. So you have some. Sorry, said your face just like dropped. It was like, oh gosh. But so here's all the 7 goaltenders that the Stars are bringing into camp. We know the 4: Ben Bishop,
7.
Braden. I know the 7. Ben Bishop, Braden Holtby, Anton Hudobin, Jay Gottinger, Colton Point, Remy Poirier, and Adam Scheel.
We're gonna have to order some more nets.
Right, no
We
joke.
don't have enough
right?
nets for them to all be in the net.
Okay, all right, Chris, rant on.
Okay. So, everybody, I'm gonna ease your minds. We have 4 NHL goalies. Okay, we have 4. We've signed 4. That's how many we're gonna have. But
One's hurt.
It's gonna be okay.
One's hurt. One has terrible stats. The other is not a number
No.
1 goalie, and then
No.
the other one is really young.
We have 4 goalies, but it's gonna be okay. So what's gonna happen is one of them is not gonna be on the starting roster somehow, and I don't know where we're gonna put him. Maybe we have a goalie on scratch. That would be cool, wouldn't it? We have like a relief goalie. We can get a reliever in just halfway through the road trip. I don't know.
I'm gonna throw a baseball term in there.
I still have no idea what's going on with the situation. And
Is Bishop healthy?
Bishop's not healthy to start the season, but I think he'll be healthy sometime during the season. But
You hope?
no, I think I have
Hope.
I have hope.
It's exactly it.
I have a strong inclination that he will. So I think if he was truly done, then he wouldn't be on the roster still, and we'd have some kind of talk about it. But I think he'll come back at some point. Will he be good after that point? Who knows? We'll see. But we have 4 goalies, and it's going to be okay. And Ottinger's probably not going to be in there, and y'all going to probably hear me yell a lot about that when the first 10 games happen, and we lose a lot of them because our goaltending sucks. But y'all are going to be okay hearing that too, you know? And we're gonna talk about this.
You're not doing a very good job in convincing me, Christian.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this as the Dallas Stars family, and you know we're gonna yell at each other a lot because there's no good answer.
Oh my gosh!
And
You're making this sound like a '90s sitcom.
But you know what my Mimi says? Everything comes out in the wash. That's what she says. So we're gonna run through that washing machine that is the NHL regular season, and whatever comes out, you know, is our goalie. I hope y'all feel better about the goaltending situation now.
I don't think you feel much better, Chris.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I won't yell today. I'll yell later whenever they tell me who the starting goalies are.
Can we make a different episode for him for that?
No. That's every PGR from now until Ottinger's the starting goalie.
No, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. That it's like that's every single episode until Ottinger gets put back in the NHL.
Yeah, we're gonna change the name of the podcast to Starcastic Ottinger. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what the name's gonna be.
Ottinger remarks? That makes more sense.
I don't want it to make sense.
Just like the goaltending situation.
Just like the goaltending situation.
Oh, man.
Something's going to happen. Somebody's not going to be on the team. Who knows? Place your bets. We should do that. We should have a betting system.
A betting system. Okay. How are we going to do this?
Call up DraftKings. I don't know. That's not my problem.
Is that a shameless plug? That's just like a shameless plug for our sponsor.
Use promo code THPN. Now for Man, I'm
gosh.
so good at this. We should get a bonus for that.
Oh, man. All right. So just to give, in all reality, let's run through the goaltending. Shield really sucked at the Traverse City tournament. I mean, I'm sorry. If he listens to this, I think he would agree with me. He really stunk it up. And now some of those goals were not his fault. The defense broke down in front of him. And again, it's a prospect tournament. It's not the NHL. But if he plays like that in the AHL, that really worries me. If he's supposed to be like the long-term starter for the Texas Stars, that worries me if I'm Neil Graham, the head coach of the Texas Stars. And maybe that's the reason why Ottinger's going back to the AHL is because they don't have a goalie that can play for the Texas Stars.
Oh yeah, what a great reason.
I'm not saying. I know. I'm
the Calder.
Yeah, I'm not. Right. I know. I agree with you 100%, Chris. But
quit talking about goalies, bro.
Remy Poirier actually looked pretty decent especially when he was called in for relief at the Traverse City tournament. He looked pretty good. Colton Point, I think at this point no pun intended, I swear. But I think at this point he is not going to push for an NHL job. That's just what I think and what I believe.
Let's have 5 goalies.
Maybe he does.
Why not 6?
Oh. We're just going to take 3 goalies and just like stand them side by side and just have 2 skaters on the ice, right? We'll put Miro Heiskanen and Rope Hintz out there the whole time and just have
illegal.
3 goalies out there just blocking the net. And then we never let in a goal, right? Eventually we'll score.
That sounds like a foolproof plan.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Ottinger, fantastic stats, really big dude. I don't understand. You got to give him the chance.
Just keep going.
Okay, I'll keep going. Hudobin, I'm not surprised he's not traded because I know you said it. You wanted him traded, Chris, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. Holtby, I hope for our sakes he has a monster season and that he doesn't come with the same stats that he has the past 2 years with 2 different teams. So we'll see. And one of the teams was good, Washington. And then Ben Bishop, I have no idea. I hope he gets to play again just for his sake. But for the Stars' sake, I hope he plays and he stays in the NHL. But again, I don't know. So this whole goaltending situation is going to be very interesting to look through and see what comes of it. I think that's the story of the season right there for the Stars is who's going to fill that net and who's going to step up. Because you got 4 darts, and one of those 4 darts has to stick. So, I don't know. Maybe Holtby. Maybe Holtby.
What a terrible plan for the most important position on your team.
I know, right?
I
know, right? It's
awful.
just...
That makes me angry.
Yeah,
We need to move along before I keep talking about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll keep going. All right. Anyways, what we want to get into now is I thought this would be kind of fun because I might have a little bit more knowledge than y'all, and I want to see what y'all come up with compared to me because I'm a little bit older than y'all. I'm almost 10 years older than James, I think. So, but anyways, who do you think of when you think of this team? So what I want to do is I'm just going to name out some teams to you, and I want you to think of the first player or maybe thing or whatever that comes to your mind. Okay? All right? We're just going to go by division. Okay? So I'm going to start in the Pacific, and we're going to start with Anaheim. Who's the first player you think of when you think of Anaheim? Getzlaf. Okay? James?
No, actually, I take it back. You know what I think of when I think of Anaheim? I think of Mike Modano on a stretcher falling.
Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, I remember that.
Woof.
That was not a good situation. Yeah. Okay. So, James, you ain't got nothing?
I thought of something. Okay.
Okay.
So, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But the only highlight videos I watch when I watch the Ducks play, they always score first on those highlight videos I watch. I don't know if that's like just the ones that I watch or they just score first, but that's what I think of.
Huh, funny. Okay, Calgary. Who do you think? What do you think of, or who do you think of when you think of Calgary?
I think of the fire Pokemon horse.
Onita.
Yes.
Onita.
Yes.
My man.
Every time, without fail.
Oh man.
Onita's my gal, bro.
Oh man.
Funny. Or my dude. He might be a dude. I think Kachuk chewing on his mouth guard. Man, I hate that guy.
Kachuk? Yeah. Oh.
No, specifically Kachuk chewing on the mouth guard with it out of his mouth. Not just Kachuk, because that's giving him too much credit.
Well, I think of the
stupidest thing in the world.
I think of Jerome Iginla, just because not a lot of people know this, but Jerome Iginla was originally drafted by the Dallas Stars.
I did know that.
And that was the big trade that sent Joe Nieuwendyk to Dallas. So Joe Nieuwendyk for Jerome Iginla, and we got a cup out of it. So you could consider that we won the trade because Calgary still hasn't won a cup. Okay, anyways.
Jerome Iginla, though. It's pretty good.
Then they got close. They did. I think they made the finals in 05 or 06. I forget. But they got really close. Edmonton. This is the easy one.
Connor McDavid.
Freaking Connor McDavid. And poor Leon Draisaitl, right?
He's so good.
I mean,
too.
he goes anywhere else, and he's like a superstar, and he gets in the same name recognition as Connor McDavid. But because he plays behind Connor McDavid, no one knows his name as much.
They were the top 2 point scorers this year, but everyone only knows it's Connor McDavid still. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's stupid. Both of those guys over 100 points in like 25 less games.
And their team still sucks.
Yes, they still get second. They still get second in the Pacific, if you ask me. That's just me. It's Vegas, them, and LA. I think is what I said.
Sorry. I still can't believe you're. Whatever.
Speaking of LA, Los Angeles.
Gretzky, actually.
Yeah, I actually think of Gretzky too, and it's mostly because the reason why California has 3 teams is because of the LA Kings and because of Gretzky. Because when they made that run to the Stanley Cup Finals in the mid '90s, I think mid '90s, that sparked interest across California for hockey. So that's who I think of when it comes to Los Angeles. James, you got anything?
I think of dark purple. Very, very dark purple.
Oh, the jersey.
Yes, that's
Yes.
the
I
only thing I
love the
remember.
jersey. That's all right. Hey, I love the jersey, man. Especially the reverse retro they did this past season. It's one of the best jerseys that came out of that reverse retro collection. San Jose.
Trash hockey?
I think of Evander Kane.
Ew.
just because of all this.
Recency.
Just because of all the stuff that's come out recently.
Yeah, I got
Gross.
nothing.
Yeah, I hate
You got
the
nothing?
Sharks. Whatever. Who cares?
And I also, and believe it or not, I actually thought of Evander Kane before I thought of Joe Pavelski. Believe it or not. So,
Dude, I already forgot Joe Pavelski even played for the Sharks.
and this,
All-Stars legend now.
I mean, this one is kind of easy or hard depending on how you look at it. Seattle.
Alexiak.
Yeah, that's kind of what I went with too.
Poor guy.
Alexiak. I also thought about Ron Francis, who's the GM. Ron Francis was a really good NHL player, and now he's the GM for the team. So I don't know.
When you say Seattle, I don't think of it as a hockey team yet, so I just think of the giant Seattle Tower, you know?
Yeah, I guess that works.
I think of random stuff, dude. Okay.
Vancouver.
Pedersen. EOLs.
EOL.
I think of whales. How the heck is their logo a whale? Like,
Well,
I don't get it.
Is that what a Canuck is? I don't know.
No,
It's
a Canuck
is
a Canuck is just another name for a Canadian. So, but the reason why it's a whale is because the team or the group that owns Vancouver, I think they were called like the Orca Group or something like that, and then that's why they put the whale as their logo is to promote their own company.
Well, it's
So,
better than the
go
Stick and
figure.
Puck logo, so
Or have y'all ever heard of the Flying V?
yes.
Yes.
The Flying V, that is like the ugliest jersey ever. It looks like a freaking graduation gown for a jersey. Da 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 da. Exactly. Vegas.
Cheaters.
There's-
I think of Cody Eakin. I miss Cody
I
Eakin.
thought of that too, actually.
Yeah, that was, as much as I am gonna miss Alexiak and everything like that, I missed Cody Eakin so much with that blazing red hair. When he got selected by Vegas, it was
Ginger
really
Ninja.
sad for me. So,
The Ginger Ninja.
the Ginger Ninja. That is exactly right. All right, that's Pacific Central Division. Arizona is now in the Central Division. So, Arizona, what do you think of? Player,
Kessel.
thing, whatever. Kessel?
Bill Kessel, yeah.
I think of Shane Doan.
Whatever.
I'm just gonna make up stupid stuff. Like it doesn't matter at this point. I've already talked about the Seattle Tower for Seattle. So when I think of Arizona, I just think that it's really hot.
That's an understatement. That's
Right?
that's a freaking understatement right there. Chicago.
Hate.
Kane.
Hey Kane. Hey Kane. There you go. But not the Evander Kane. The Patrick Kane. I think of Chris Chelios. Actually, just because I watched the Hockey Guy video on Chris Chelios recently, and he actually played for a lot of people think of the time he was in Detroit because that was more recent, but he spent a decent amount of time in Chicago as well. So that's just who I think of. Colorado.
Matt Kynine.
Nathan McKinnon.
I think of Peter Forsberg. Peter Forsberg, even above Patrick Wall, which I'm kind of surprised, but that was the first name that popped in my head was Peter Forsberg.
What a kid. Patrick Waugh is the NHL's Shaquille O'Neal.
No joke, exactly.
He's
That's
just
good.
stupid stuff, and he's just stayed around the league for forever.
Yep. Who's next? Dallas. Okay, Dallas. I guess I should have saved that for last, but whatever. Dallas.
I don't know why, but the first thing I thought of when you said it was Jamie Benn. So there you go. That's the game we're playing.
James.
I think of their old logo.
So like
The one before this one, the star that's like full and like weird and like dark green, and not the new victory green color.
and weird. The old green. That's like the best logo in my opinion that the Stars have ever had.
When
That's a weird take.
No, it's not a weird take. Whatever. Y'all
Yeah.
are dumb. I guess this is coming from the guy who really loves the Mooterist jersey, but
yeah, I was
whatever.
about to say.
Minnesota.
Sitter.
All these Dallas connections. You have to make Dallas connections. I think of Marianne Gabrick. That's like the first big superstar that they had, and honestly, it's probably the only superstar they've had, unless you count Kirill Kaprizov right now. But Gabrick had a much longer career than Kaprizov will in the NHL, so that's just me. James?
I got nothing.
Nothing. All right. I got nothing. Nashville.
You're gonna hear that a lot.
PK Subban.
Can I just say hate? You suck. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Think of their little tooth on their logo.
Yeah.
Just the tooth, though.
Just the
not,
tooth.
not the rest of the logo. I think of the giant tooth on the logo. Like,
Right.
I don't know, but
Actually, I didn't even mention mine. Who did I? Oh, Pecorine. Pecorine is who I thought of. So, anyway, St. Louis. Jordan Bennington. Hate. Hate keeps coming to my mind for those two
Think of
teams.
5-1.
it's funny because I actually liked the Blues until we lost to them. Like, the Blues were like my second team until that point.
The Blues were never my second team.
I don't know why I liked them, but
Man, what is wrong with you, James? Seriously.
I don't know. That was my second team.
Yeah, my second team for a while was Ottawa, just because I felt bad for them because they sucked. And then they got really good for a while, and then it kind of has shifted to Carolina, which I feel like a lot of Stars fans actually have shifted to Carolina as their second favorite team.
I love Carolina.
Winnipeg.
I'm a media person.
Atlanta Thrashers.
I actually think of Dustin Byfuglien. Big buff. And he's no longer in the NHL, but yeah. Okay, Metropolitan. Carolina, who do you think of?
Aho.
Aho.
I think of their media person.
Oh, good. That's a good one, James. They've got the best social media team in the NHL. Would y'all agree with that?
They're amazing.
Oh, I loved it when they gave the offer sheet to Kotkaniemi. Oh my goodness, the epic trolling. I love it.
I do admire their consistent trolling too, though. So every time they get the chance to do a banner picture making fun of Nashville, they do it every single time, and I appreciate their consistency.
Right, and then Nashville goes on and blocks them.
That's hilarious.
Nashville legitimately blocked Carolina, and then Carolina took a snapshot of it and put it on Twitter. It's awesome. Oh, man. Well, I'll say mine real quick, but James, you win that round. I think of Brenda Moore, but that's just because of their coach, and he played for them as well and was a really good player. Columbus.
Cannon.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You got my thing.
Sorry. I couldn't think of anybody.
Well, I will say just because, again, because he passed away, but Kev Lennox. And I guess honorable mention to Merzlikins. So that's who I thought of. Going on with New Jersey.
PK Subban.
PK Subban.
He's on my brain. Rent free.
Well, I thought of Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is their shining toy. He's like 21 or something like that, and he's gonna be a freak of nature in the NHL this season. He's supposed to be a Rope Hintz as well, so I think he's gonna. I would expect a 90-point season out of him this season, if you ask me. But James, you think of anything?
I think of Dang It because of the year that they were in all the Dang It videos that Steve Dangle does.
Right. Yeah, that too.
That's the only other thing I can think of.
Well, what's funny is that I also thought about when we lost to them in the 2000 Stanley Cup final, but I didn't think of the word hate for some reason. I don't know why. That was weird. New York Islanders.
Panarin.
Islanders?
And then Islanders. Oh, I thought Rangers.
Okay, let's just do Rangers. Just
do.
do Rangers because Chris already said Panarin. Rangers. I actually thought, yeah, you said Panarin. I think of Mark Messier. That's me, Mark Messier and Brian Leach for the Rangers.
You're old.
I think of the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
I am killing it. Okay.
We need to broaden your horizon a little bit for more NHL players. Okay, Islanders now. All right, Chris, Islanders.
Island. Who?
Islanders.
Okay, all I can think of is the fisherman logo.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's an island.
Mm-hmm. Manhattan. I just think of their dynasty back in the early. I think it was somewhere in the 80s where they won like 4 or 5 cups in a row. That's what I thought of. I think like Brian Trottier was part of that team or something. But anyways, Philadelphia. Who do y'all think of?
Giroux. Why couldn't I say his name?
Claude Giroux. Yeah.
Yeah, the most underrated player of this generation, in my opinion, because he's always played on a terrible team. Poor guy.
Yep. James, I'm interested to see what you got.
Is that the right team?
Do what?
Hart. I think that's his last name.
Carter Hart. Yeah.
Yeah,
They good.
Carter Hart,
There you
yeah.
go, James. Yeah. Okay, this is actually one of the few ones that I didn't think about a player. Gritty.
Oh gosh.
The NHL's best mascot, in my opinion. He's hilarious. I love him. Okay, Pittsburgh. Easy one. Crosby?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Malkin, maybe?
No.
Malkin.
Okay.
Okay, again, another easy one. Washington.
Avi.
Ovi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Atlantic. Boston.
Chara.
Chara. I thought of Chara as well.
I thought of Brad Marchand.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Ew, Brad Marchand.
I didn't. It wasn't a good thought. I promise you.
No one likes you, Brad Marchand. Just kidding, because I don't want you to come beat me up, because I know he could. Buffalo.
Bad.
Stanley Cup.
I'm just going to take my dad's words and say Saubers.
Yeah.
They're still complaining that Brett Hall's foot was in the crease 22 years later. It was a goal. Get over it.
Poor guys.
Detroit. Ooh, this is a hard one. There's a lot of good Detroit players.
I just think of their the franchise that they had, how they won so many times, in like the span of those years. I don't know what years they were, but they
Yeah,
won a bunch.
When we were young, they were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them. I just think of the rivalry they had with Colorado. Especially when y'all were I think y'all were like super little. I think I was like in must have been in middle school-ish, maybe a little bit before. And I just remember I still go back and watch the YouTube video, but have y'all ever seen the big YouTube video where they had a giant brawl? Oh my goodness. I mean, like, I think Claude Lemieux was involved in that, Patrick Waugh, and like Mike Vernon, and I mean, there were blood all over the ice. It was one of the best rivalries in NHL history, if you ask me. One of the best. And that's what I thought of. But, I mean, there's so many good Detroit players now that I think about it that have played.
Yeah, I didn't give mine, but I was going to say Zetterberg.
There's Zetterberg. There's Johan Franzen. There's Sergei Fedorov. There's Nick Lindstrom. Nick Lidstrom. I mean, how can you not mention Nick Lidstrom in the same sentence as the Detroit Red Wings? But again, I guess it just goes to show you how good they were for a really long time. Florida Panthers.
Empty arenas.
Yeah, kinda.
I thought
Unfortunate.
of Alexander Barkov second, but what I thought of first was no playoff series win since 1996. So y'all have been, they've had that streak longer than y'all have been alive.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, seriously. Montreal. PK
Right.
Subban.
No, Carey Price.
I just think about the number of Stanley Cups they've won. I think it's like 25. I think something like that.
None of them are recent.
None of them are recent. The last one was
Trash.
1993.
Suzuki. That's his name, right?
Yep. Good.
I know
Yeah.
that one too.
Yeah.
Ah,
Good.
James
Good look
is
at
so
you,
good.
James. He's
Good
on it
stuff.
tonight.
Oh my gosh.
What about Ottawa? Ottawa is next.
Hemsky. I don't know why, but
Really? Well, that's an interesting one. That's not one I would have thought that you would have said.
I think I'm just still upset about how bad he was for us.
Yeah. I mean, he was older and he was way past his prime when he came to Dallas. So
And he sucked.
he didn't suck that bad.
Go back.
He wasn't
terrible.
that. At least he
He
didn't
was
have.
awful.
At least he didn't have pucks bouncing off of him and going into the net like Jordy Ben did.
But Jordy Ben
That
wasn't
was
supposed to be good. Hemsky was. Hemsky was terrible.
Well, there are two people I think of when I think of Ottawa. I think of Eric Carlson and how much he's getting overpaid in San Jose. And I don't know why I made that connection to Ottawa, but I did. And then I also thought of Jason Spezza, because that's where he was for the longest time, was in Ottawa. So,
I don't know. I didn't think it's. I don't know. I thought of Hemsky instead of Spencer, but whatever.
yep.
Well, I didn't think of anything, so it still beat me.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right. Shoot. Who's next? We got two more. Tampa Bay.
Boo.
That's it. Just boo. You suck because you're too
Cinderella
good.
Killers.
I actually thought of Blake Coleman.
Thought
With
of Blake
it-
Coleman first. Wow.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I thought of Blake Coleman before I thought of Kucherov, Point, Vasilevsky,
Vasilevsky.
I know
Bishop,
too many people on that
whoever.
team. That's a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's true. All right, last one for tonight, and then we'll do the who cares segment. Toronto.
Steve Dangle.
Steve Dangle, the poor guy.
The team that is good enough to win but can't.
Right? Like what else does that team need to actually win a Stanley Cup?
To win.
A miracle.
A miracle, yeah. Pretty much. There's something cursed about that team. They're the only team in NHL history to lose to an emergency backup goaltender. How bad is that?
That's the best video ever, by the way.
I love that video. They lost to a 42-year-old goaltender who works for them. I love that video. Go look. Those of you who don't know, go look at the Steve Dangle video on YouTube. It's absolutely hilarious. It's got hundreds of thousands of views, and it's one of his most popular videos on his channel. And that was completely unscripted, by the way. He did that completely unscripted, the whole thing. So, oh man. Okay, let's get into our Who Cares segment for the evening, which, Chris, this was your idea, and I agree with you. I hate this. But the most annoying common illnesses or symptoms. So, Chris, why don't you go ahead and go first? They just give us all. Let's just do 3.
All right.
Just do all 3 at once. Go.
Number 3. Okay, and so this is the most annoying, not which is the worst. It's the most annoying. So number 3 for me is the stomach bug. Because this is real graphic. If y'all get queasy, easily click off. When I vomit, it's not just one. is like boom, 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 boom until it's all out. That's awful.
James
When
is
I-
off.
when I'm done with the stomach flu, I feel like I've done like 500 crunches. It's awful. Okay, moving on.
Oh, number 2.
Oh, it's all me?
Yeah, you do all
Oh,
3.
okay.
And then
Okay,
James will do
what?
his 3, and I'll do my 3. Or I'll do my 3, and James will do his 3. Whatever.
So the next one is a headache that won't go away. You take the ibuprofen, take Tylenol, doesn't help. Nothing. And it's a little sharp one. It's just a little twinge, you know? So it's not enough to where you can convince yourself that you're too sick to go anywhere. So, and you just gotta go throughout your day just with pain the whole time. So terrible.
Yeah.
All right.
What, number 1.
Number 1 is a runny nose. That's it. Not a stuffy nose. Stuffy's easier. Runny nose is the worst because that goes everywhere. And you got to take care of it, and other people around you can see it. Terrible. Runny nose, worst symptom ever made. Do not recommend.
Oh, James, what do you got anything? You don't have to have a top 3.
No, I got 3. I
Oh,
actually
you do have 3. Okay.
3. It's quick thinking this time. Okay, so my number 3 is a runny nose because it's really annoying and gross, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's enough of that because Chris explained all right. Number 2, fatigue. Being tired and not feeling sick sucks. Like I hate that so much. You want to go do stuff, but like at the same time you're dead tired. Like that's so annoying. And then number 1 is coughing because everyone thinks you have COVID.
At least nowadays, that's true. Yeah. Okay. I'll do my 3. My number 3 is queasiness. I hate feeling queasy because it's like you're sick, but you're not sick, and then your stomach always feels awkward and weird. You feel super dizzy. It sucks. I hate being queasy. Number 2 for me is a sore throat. I can't stand having a sore throat just because you can't eat anything except for soup, and that's about it.
Right, anyway. Suffer through, bro.
No, I hate.
Eating chips.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll get some nachos, bro.
Yeah, right?
You gotta scratch it out. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah,
That's
plus
why
the
you're
salt.
having bad sore throats.
And then my number 1 is actually a stuffy nose, and you can ask Amanda, my wife. For those of you that are listening, my wife Amanda, I cannot stand when I cannot breathe through my nose when I go to sleep. I cannot
got a whole extra hole here.
stand it. I hate being a mouth breather. I don't know where that commercial came from, but being a mouth breather, I cannot stand it. And you can even ask Amanda. I cannot stand taking medicine, like any kind of medicine, anything, gummies, just swallow pills, whatever, vitamins, whatever. But the one medicine that I will always take is nose spray because I have to be able to breathe through my nose while I'm trying to go to sleep. Cannot stand it. Don't know why. That's just a pet peeve of mine.
Constipation's way worse. If you can't go out that hole, there's nowhere else to go there, bro.
Where did that come from? Oh gosh, Christian. Oh,
You're complaining about stuffy nose, like, bro. You got other places to get the air. Like, come on.
No. We might have to do another thing where it's like the worst medicine. Like, have y'all ever had like milk of magnesia before? Have y'all ever tried milk of magnesia before? Speaking of constipation. Oh, it's
this is a family-friendly show. Can we not talk about all the drugs you've done?
Right?
I have done more than that. Okay. Anyways. Woo. Awkward. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, guys. I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. I think we got everything right.
Yeah. Training camp starts tomorrow. We are almost at hockey.
Yep, I'm super excited for training camp to start. We'll see, and especially to see how the goaltending situation evolves and see what happens. Maybe Bishop does come back and he's healthy because all of a sudden it seems like he wouldn't be invited to training camp if he was at least able to skate, right? So he's at least able to do that. So that's what I found interesting about the fact that he's even on the list. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. We will catch you guys again next week. And we'll have some more news and some more updates for you guys up at that point.
Head to Arlington. A&M's gonna beat the heck out of Arkansas. Back up to the top 5, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
It's not gonna happen. Sorry, Chris. Despite that y'all won 34-0 last week, I know, but
We're gonna destroy Arkansas. Overrated team.
they are an overrated team. But you're not gonna get in the top 4. You're not. I don't see it. I don't
Top
see
5
it.
this week. Top 4 after Bama. That's what's happening. Number 1 after we beat Bama, bro. Easy.
James, you want to talk about UNT and UNT's chances of making this?
Yeah. Fly,
Make fun of me.
Eagles, fly.
Go me,
Don't-
go
don't
mean green.
make fun of me.
All right, guys, we're going to sign off tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Starcastic Remarks. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at StarcasticR, like us on Instagram and Facebook and all that other stuff, the Snapbooks, the Twittergrams, all that, like Chris always says. And make sure that you use that promo code THPN for DraftKings and get a special little deal each and every week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good evening.
Flippity floppity.